Good evening and welcome. It's Sunday night. Super Bowl's almost over. And I'm Bob Pace. I'm your host. And here tonight, we're supposed to fight CPS and stop taking our children. You found me on Facebook, Fight CPS. I'm glad you did. There are 7 Facebook rooms and 1 YouTube. So when you talk in this room, what you say will be in your rooms, your comments, but I will see them. I'll see all the comments from all 7 rooms. You won't see them unless I display them. Further, YouTube is seen everywhere. So that's the major difference. But I'm glad you found me because here tonight we're supposed to fight CPS. It's a really difficult government agency, and many of the CPS, the child protection systems, have gone rogue. So I definitely want you to know that I've been there. I too had a CPS case. Now, I have 4 ways you can act in this room, and I'll go over them really quickly. The first way is just by being in this room. You can send me emojis, smiley faces, thumbs up, hearts, and also stars. Please check below if you want to follow me, and then also if you want me to notify when I'm live, check that too. Now, if you want to go further and text a message, it's very important that you have some information. Now, your message is either a comment or a question about CPS. Please show your first name, city, and if you're from another country besides the United States, you're more than welcome here. Also, please include your country and your province. Further, it'd be nice if you start off with the completeness of your CPS case, how it started and where you're at on it. And when you text these comments, I'll try my best to answer your questions. Good evening, Margaret. I remember talking to you this morning. I had some leftover questions for you. Margaret is from St. Louis, Missouri. She has a daughter who's 26 that recently had a baby, and they're trying to take the baby away from her. She also has a guardianship of one of her grandchildren that that was taken from her also. It's all through lies and how bad CPS has been towards her. And one of the questions I asked you, Margaret, early on was, where is the father and the mother of the child you have guardianship of? And where is the father of the child that your daughter had taken from her? I just want to know if any father's involved in it. Now, besides texting me a message, I hope that you all would like to be a guest on my podcast. Please, to be a guest, all you have to do is pick my show times. I'm on every day, 7 days a week. I'm on in the morning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast of California, and again at evening at 7 p.m. on the West Coast of California. They're 1-hour shows. Now, on the weekend, my morning shows start at 8 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. That's the only difference. Now, during the week, I'll let you know if there's different times or different moments there. But I've been broadcasting regularly for over 16 months. And I've acquired a lot of followers. There's usually 25 to 50 people in my room here that want to help out others and talk about things. Now, the fourth way to interact with this podcast. I didn't say the third way, did I? Yeah, the guest. So to be a guest on my podcast, all you have to do is pick one of those dates. I want to be a Bob Sunday show in the evening or Bob Sunday show in the morning. Or I want to be on his Friday show. You just email my producer, my show producer. Her name is Grace, at vincentwdavis.com. That's her email, grace at vincentwdavis.com. And she will certainly help you get on. And she'll tell you what you can say and not say and those kinds of things there too. But being a guest is beneficial because you can actually get a free 15-minute consultation, which I'll tell you in a minute here. Now, when you do get that email in there, she'll send you a link back. You get on. If you get bounced off, use the link again. It's good for the whole show. Also, if you have questions, she'll explain to you the do's and don'ts and what you can say and those kinds of things. She'll work with you, and she's very professional. Now, the fourth way you can interact with the podcast is you can call my number. Well, something has happened to my I think I've lost someone erased my phone number. Now, the fourth way to react with this podcast is to please call me. Please call Bob Pace at 626-698-6990. That's my office number, and you can reach me. I use Vonage, which is a application on the streaming internet that we use. It's our phone application that we use at the office. So that's the fourth way. So now I've run through it all that way. Keep in mind that if you call in on my phone or you're a guest, you qualify for a free 15-minute session with Vincent Davis. He's my attorney. He's the best there is around there. Now, Margaret said she's a mother of two beautiful little girls, is in a rehab in San Francisco, and the father is living house to house. So does the father want any difference, anything with the kids? Now, you have a daughter who's 26 she has one child that she was taken away at birth because she thought she was a drug user. And you have a daughter that you have guardianship over. And that was taken from you with some false allegations. Now you say the mother of the two beautiful little girls. I don't think you said it was the same mother for both of them. I thought they were different mothers. And why is she in a rehab in San Francisco? Now the father is living house to house, which is not very stable. And I guess he doesn't want anything to do with the children. But is the same mother and the father the same with the two girls, the one you have guardianship and the one that she lost? So I'm trying to understand that, Margaret. You said you're going to call in tonight. That'd be great if you did. My number's up there. Well, I understand that the mother is a Christian-based rehab, but I'm really confused about the mother of the other little girl or both fathers. Anyway, there's two children involved. I know that much. One of you may have guardianship. The other one your daughter had at birth, and she was accused of being on drugs or as a drug user. So why is she in rehab in San Francisco? I thought she had prescribed medication, and so that's why I thought she was taken there. Margaret further says, even though the father is homeless, he is keeping up with his parenting classes. Well, that's good. But which father? See, you have two girls. Do they both have the same father and the same mother? CPS is giving him the runaround. That's typical. They're not returning his calls. He seems to see, he wants to see his child, so he gets no visitation. That doesn't make sense. What was the father accused of? Can you call in, Margaret, from St. Louis, Missouri? My number's up. It'd be great if you did. Now, I have 5 rules that really will help you. And I've talked to you on my other shows that are there, and I'll try to go through them really quick. One of the first rules that I wish I'd known about is you have an attorney. You have an attorney. And I have a pit bull of attorney that I hired for my case. Who do I have the pleasure of talking to?
Hi, Bob. It's Margaret.
Oh, hi, Margaret. I'm glad you are calling in. Now I can finally complete what you're talking about because your case has been very hard to confusing.
Very. I agree.
What I've been asking for you, you have 2 girls involved. Are these 2 girls with the same father and the same mother?
Same mother, different fathers.
Okay, so you have your daughter who's 26, and she had a child. How old was she when she had the first child?
20. She was 20 years old.
All right, and then
21.
what happened to that father?
He went back to his first, his ex.
And he
because
wanted
he
no
fathered 2 children.
financial responsibility or anything with that daughter, right? He doesn't want anything to do with that daughter.
Nothing. He moved out of state.
Okay.
And he's incarcerated in the state of Indiana.
So what brought the first child to be removed? What did CPS see that your daughter did that was wrong?
Well, because the newborn tested positive for amphetamines.
I thought that's when she was 26, the second child.
The second child is 5 months old.
Right, the newborn. I'm talking about the first child.
Well,
Why was she taken from the mother at 20? So why was she taken and then you got guardianship?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Well, because my daughter and a son of mine got into an altercation and the police got involved. They got into an argument. The police got involved and my son, I guess, called CPS. He's denying it, but I think he did. And I had a CPS worker come to my home, and she said, if you don't file for guardianship, we're going to place the child, the 5-year-old, in foster home.
Now, why couldn't they be temporary with you? Why couldn't they be just temporary set up with you while the mother was being investigated?
Well, apparently she was investigated, and at that time she started on the psychiatric meds, so there was the mental health issues. So they encouraged me to apply for the guardianship, and that's what I had to do when the 5-year-old was about 4 months old. So I did that, and I've had the guardianship ever since.
Okay, now why, with the first child that she was accused of doing drugs, why didn't you have the doctor say that she uses the drug for medication?
Well, she was on psychiatric drugs, but it wasn't so much the medication. It was more the mental illness.
Well, do they have a mental illness person that diagnostic she had mental illness?
Well, at 18 years old, she went from mild depression to a lockdown facility and came home after 8 days on some very powerful drugs.
Okay, so, but your daughter had the child when she was 20 or 18?
She was 20.
Well, what's this thing about 18 have to do with CPS?
Well, that's when my daughter started on the psychiatric medication and started experiencing tons and tons of side effects, 2 suicide attempts, audio hallucinations. She had some pretty severe ones. So they would just start one drug and then stop another, start her on something else, in and out of psych hospitals. She's been off of it now for 3 months. She's doing a whole lot better.
Well, that sounds really good, but my question is who pronounces that she wasn't fit? Was it your family doctor?
Right. No, I guess the altercation that my daughter had with her brother involved CPS, and that's when they came to my home to investigate, and they recommended that I get the guardianship of the 5-year-old.
Now, did you know about the law that you don't need to open your home to the social worker?
Oh, I'm fully aware of all this now. Trust me.
Okay. And you learned also...
No protective services want... Pardon me?
And you also know not to talk to them, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so at that time, you didn't know that?
No, because I've never experienced such darkness with this organization ever. I've dealt with them over the years and met some very nice social workers. I've never encountered anything like this ever. Horrific.
It is.
Things that they fabricate and the lies.
That is a tough one. That is a tough one there.
Yep, they are fighting. They are fighting me.
Now,
I'm even being harassed.
So that was with the first child. Now you supposedly have a second child, And who's in the rehab in San Francisco?
My daughter.
Now, why is she in rehab? If she got off the drugs, she should go back to it again with her second child?
Well, they had her on psychiatric medication during the pregnancy of the second child.
Well, isn't that endangering the
condition?
Isn't that endangering the child if she's pregnant, given those drugs?
It is, and it led to a positive amphetamines drug test. Both her and the baby tested positive, and that's what prompted them to take the baby.
Oh boy!
And labeled her as a drug addict.
Now, did you ever try to combat that and go see her personal physician and get a statement from that person and have that person show up at court?
We didn't stand a chance. The baby was taken straight from the hospital.
Yeah, I understand that, but you can still request the baby be returned. Did they have a warrant when they took the baby?
I wasn't given any warrant.
Okay, so they illegally took the child because you probably didn't know better and you said gave permission. Or was it your daughter that gave permission?
My daughter wasn't even here. She was in the hospital. She wasn't home.
Okay. Now, why did you allow?
I wasn't home when they showed up.
Okay. Well, how'd they get in?
They just came intrusively. My 17-year-old niece answered the door.
And she didn't know better, but she answered the door. Okay.
So the CPS worker walks in the home, questions everybody, and takes photographs of the bedrooms. I'm not here when this is all going on.
Who gave the permission? Who gave the permission to take photographs?
No one. She just helped herself and started walking around the house with my niece.
Now, you didn't get an attorney right away. You don't have an attorney, right? Or do you have Mr. Davis now?
Well, I retained Mr. Davis soon after the detention hearing.
Okay. All right. So what's the next case of action coming up?
Well, we're in appeal. The case has been appealed. The disposition jurisdiction hearings didn't go so well, so now it's an appeal.
Oh, okay.
Appellate.
So, I see that you switched to another YouTube account. I mean, a YouTube. Well, then I see two Margaret Kings.
Oh, no, I didn't switch.
Well, this is very, very strange.
I have one account.
Well, I have a Margaret King that may have bootlegged your account. Let me see here what happened here. It's a YouTube account, but it has a different picture. Oh, there it is. It's straightened up. You're fine. You're fine. It's my fault. My computer.
So my case is in appeal, and I received some paperwork this past Saturday. They're objecting to release the children's file.
Who's requesting the children's file?
Mr. Davis's office.
Really? They're refused to give the file because now you have a contract with Mr. Davis, right?
Yes.
So you have agreement, and he's representing you.
Correct.
So what is Mr. Davis saying for you to do with that file that they're requesting?
Well, I have an appointment by phone with him tomorrow.
Okay.
In the afternoon. So we're going to address that, and then also the possibility of the girls being placed with another family member. They're not really in a good spot right now.
Right. Well, I hope that does take place. What question do you want of me? What can I help you with? Well,
I'm not sure how long it's going to take. Do we get a court date? Do you know, I mean, after an appeal has been filed, do we get a court date and have a trial? I thought we had a trial already.
I don't. Okay, you can't retry the evidence, but if some improper procedure happened in the court case, they can get you a new court case. It's depending on what your case is, and I don't have in front of me. And Vincent Davis is a perfect one to digest you and tell you.
Yeah, we'll figure it out tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
But it's a long story. I don't know if I want to take up all your time.
Well, no,
story.
it is right. You've been one of my regulars for a long time, Margaret. For every people listening to me, I'm talking to Margaret. She's from St. Louis, Missouri. She's retained Mr. Davis, my attorney, which is a good thing. He's one of the best around. And so, what's your chemistry with him like? Have you talked to him?
We've spoken a couple of times.
Well, how is he? Do you feel comfortable with him?
I do.
Good, good.
I really do.
Well, that's good news out there. I'm glad that you did retain him. I did too, and I got my children back, except my little daughter. And the reason why I didn't get her back is that they had well, they. I'm trying to think of the right word to say. See, Mr. Davis is working with you. Now, who's working with your daughter? Who's representing your daughter?
She has a court-appointed CPS worker.
That can hurt your case, you know.
Yes, and my daughter has not spoken to her even once.
I believe that.
She has appeared in court. She's appeared only twice in court, and for the most part, she's just recovering from, the postpartum, just having the baby. She's had some medical issues. She's been at Stanford. She had surgery last week. She might have cancer, where they're still running a lot of tests on her. So she hasn't been available for the CPS court-appointed attorney, nor for the CPS worker.
That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing.
I agree. Now I have an adult protective services at my door asking for her. So I don't know what to think. What is going on? Maybe CPS sent them to look for her. I don't know. I don't even want to talk to them, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. You don't want to talk to him. Well, I don't think CPS is going to be positive in your case. Now, how's that court-appointed attorney working with your daughter?
My daughter has made no contact with that attorney at all, not even with the CPS worker.
Why? Why is that?
Because of all the medical issues my daughter is having. And surgery. She had surgery. She's just not been well.
Oh, what was her surgery for?
They were testing to see if she might have cancer.
Oh, boy.
Uterine cancer.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good.
So she's having to test every week, lots of blood work, and she's just not well. She's got no energy. She's lost a tremendous amount of weight. Her body's still trying to adjust to not being on the psych meds. Even though it's been 3 months, she's been on those psych drugs for almost 8 years. It's going to take time.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
So what I'd like to do is hire her an attorney, a private attorney.
Does Vincent have a suggestion?
We're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Okay, good.
That's one of my questions.
How is it to talk to Vincent? Do you have a good, comfortable range with him?
I'm sorry?
How comfortable is it to talk to Vincent? Is there good chemistry between you two?
I believe so.
Good. I just want to make sure you feel, confident in him representing you, because he's one of the best out there.
He's been on my case for 6 months now. Almost 6. No, not 6 months.
Really?
August, September,
Really?
October, November,
Okay.
January. Yeah. almost 5-6 months. The baby's 5 months old now.
So does he?
I didn't even think that. I'm sorry?
I was going to say, does he do a Zoom call with you? How does he communicate with you?
We did a Zoom call once. And then we just talk on the phone. But I email a lot. His email box is inundated with emails for me. I do communicate through email quite a bit.
Okay.
I
Now,
keep him apprised, all the updates, any changes, everything that's going on.
okay. Well, that's certainly good there. Now, okay, there we go.
And I text his phone too.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that is really, really, really good. Now, what's his game plan? Has he told you his game plan?
We're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Oh, okay. So where you at on your case, realistic though? I mean, you have two cases with CPS. One that's something you did wrong, and one something your daughter did wrong. Is that right?
Apparently so. They are saying that I failed to protect my 5-year-old. My daughter, during the duration of the 5-year-old's life, 85% of the time my daughter was in the hospital. And they have a very strong bond. My granddaughter, loves her mother. She's very bonded with both of us.
Okay.
She calls me mom too. And it's just awful what they did to her. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
They lied to her. Told her she was going on vacation when they drove her away in the county car. I just will never forget that. It was just so traumatic.
Well, she was what? How old? 5?
She's 5. She turned 5 October 8th.
And how about the other daughter?
The baby was delivered here in my home. I helped deliver her on August the 12th.
But she's only 5 weeks old, or a little bit more than that?
She's 5 months old now.
5 months old, okay.
They're telling me that they're working on getting the 5-year-old returned to me, but now they've reduced my visits. So their actions are not matching what they're telling me. They're just saying things and not doing what they're saying.
Wow.
I mean, if they're reunifying the family, why are they reducing the visits? I don't even get phone calls. I can't even speak to my grandbaby.
Well, what was their sudden strange of reducing the visits? What was the rationality?
Because at the end of every visit, my granddaughter breaks down. She starts crying. The CPS worker and I have exchanged some words, and she just said that she wasn't, until the visits got better or improved, she wasn't going to allow any further visits. But because I'm a grandparent, I believe now, because I'm a grandparent, she's reducing the visits. The grandparents are only allowed 1 visit a month, but she's going to allow me to see the 5-year-old and the 5-month-old twice a month, every 2 weeks. I went from weekly to now every 2 weeks. Her rationale is because that's what the grandparents get for visitation.
Okay, now, Mike, whoops, did I lose you?
I'm here.
Okay, good. My picture suddenly got big there. Make sure I don't have any more people with messages. No. Okay, good. I was thinking and closed my eyes a moment and tried to collect my thoughts of the game plan. Now, since you have retained him, you need to follow him and do exactly this is what he tells you. You also got to make a list of questions from tomorrow Have you made some questions to ask him?
Yeah, I started my list.
Okay. And then it's very important that he knows everything about your case, so he doesn't spend a lot of time wasted or confusion.
Okay. I agree.
So
I don't like wasting time myself. I just, want to be able to have a successful meeting with my attorney,
right.
Get things clarified.
Now, is this a Zoom meeting tomorrow?
No, I think it's just by phone.
Let me see what our time is right now. Okay, we're only halfway through the show. This is good, Margaret. So why are you accused of not taking care of your granddaughter? What did you do that's wrong?
Well, the reporting party made false accusations. She called in acting like my eldest daughter, and my daughter. They both ganged up on me and called in false accusations about. I don't have they're saying that I failed to protect my 5-year-old.
Now what endangered thing your 5-year-old was going through?
I guess the exposure to my daughter's outbursts during her mental illness.
Now, have you at all ever had your daughter personal doctor check her out?
My daughter's been seen by regular doctors.
And what do they? What do they say about? Okay, right. So, what do they say about your daughter? What do they say about your daughter?
Well, today, now she's doing a whole lot better. She's not hearing voices anymore. No suicidal attempts. She's sleeping better. She's eating better. No more outbursts. I haven't had to call an ambulance to pick her up and take her to the hospital. There's been no police activity here at my home as far as her outbursts go. But I don't understand how I failed to protect when I reached out to law enforcement and the medical team to come and assist me with her to get her to the hospital every single time. She was in the hospital for 85% of the child's life.
Wow.
And they said I failed to protect.
Okay.
My 5-year-old.
Now, why do you think
my daughter did get?
I was going to say, why do you think they reduced your visits? You told me earlier that they reduced your visits.
Because I'm a grandmother.
But that has nothing to do with the price of rice in China.
Mm-hmm. They said that because grandparents are only entitled to one visit a month.
Who came up with that law?
The CPS worker.
Well, I never heard of that law that grandparents are allowed one visit a month. That's ridiculous.
That's their policy.
Well, that is in a rogue entity there, and they need to be reported.
Well, I've already emailed Mr. Davis and the office, the whole team, so I'm hoping that we can get this resolved quickly. It's been 3 weeks since I've seen the girls. I've had one of the worst days today, just very apprehensive. My anxiety level was out the roof today.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yes.
Yeah. I have not felt this way since the beginning of all this, and today I just had a really rough day today.
I've had
and I
those.
know my granddaughter's having a rough time too.
Yeah.
I know she is.
Yeah.
But I have an eldest daughter. The girls are placed with her, and they caused a great division between my eldest daughter and I. They really caused a wedge, and they did this on purpose. I know they did. They did it purposely. They put the girls there with her. There's been a lot of issues. Prior to them getting placed with her, they were in a foster home with strange people for the first 6 weeks. My granddaughter already experienced physical abuse along with psychological and emotional abuse. She was the most brightest, happiest child before all this happened. Now she can't even look at me in the eyes. Her head's always hanging low. She whines a lot. She's obviously frustrated. And at the end of every visit, she just doesn't want to let me go. She wants to come home with me and starts crying uncontrollably. I need her back. I really need her back. I need them both back here.
Yeah, well, I think you can. And I think Vincent's the right man that will do that for you. You have to go step by step.
We had trial about 2 weeks ago, and I had witnesses subpoenaed. They weren't even allowed to go in the courtroom. They didn't get on the stand. They put me on the stand, then the social worker.
Well, why did they not come in on your stand? Was it because of the time factor, or why were they not be allowed to speak on the case?
Well, the father was subpoenaed, the father of the newborn, and because he submitted all his rights to me, he said he wants, until they get on their feet, both parents want me to have custody of the girls.
Okay.
And because he did that, he was told he wasn't allowed to get up on the stand to testify. And they really railroaded him. They didn't escalate him up to the biological father. And they took away the privilege part of the case plan, where they help with housing and counseling and all that stuff, not the reunification recommendations. I forget the term, where they help the parents.
Oh, wow, that's good news to know.
They didn't give that to him. They took it away, and they didn't escalate him to biological father, and he's already had the paternity test done. And they didn't allow him on the stand to testify. It's the craziest thing ever. They said that because he submitted all his rights to me, he wasn't allowed to testify, which makes no sense to me at all. And he had a lot to say too. He wanted to get up there on the stand, and he was told not to. And my witnesses were standing outside of the courtroom, and two of them looked through the window to see what was going on, and they were asked by the sheriffs to stay away from the doors, not to even look in the window. They weren't allowed in the courtroom. It was just myself and the father of the newborn. It was just a mess. It was a mess that day, but maybe it had to happen that way.
Where was your husband doing all this time? What was he doing?
Pardon me?
What was your husband doing all this time?
Well, he appeared in court too. He was out there waiting to get up on the stand to testify, to be called in. And he wasn't allowed to go inside the courtroom. And he's my estranged husband, by the way. We don't live together. We've been separated for about 5 years. But we're civil, and he's been in Alexandra's life since the day she was born. He's developed a bond with her. And he wanted to testify how everything, basically what I'm saying, to give me support and try to get my granddaughter back. He was here when CPS showed up. He got here before I got here. Before I got home, he showed up here. He said he regrets it. He said he would have picked her up and taken her, away from here when the CPS worker showed up. He keeps reflecting on that day and regretting it. But then they could have put a warrant out for his arrest too if he would have taken her away. Who knows? It's just all so confusing. It really is. But I'm learning a lot just, being on the podcast. I do appreciate all the information you offer and what Mr. Davis, Attorney Davis, is doing for my case and how he's helping other people, other families. I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah.
Without his help.
It's a shame you can't get him back into your life again.
Pardon me?
It's a shame you couldn't get him back into your life again.
Who?
The father, right?
The father of who?
Oh boy, I get confused here. Say the father of the second child.
In my life?
No, I meant not the father, your husband. Your husband isn't a co-guardianship, or is it just your guardianship?
It's just my guardianship. No, we're divorcing.
Oh, you guys are not seeing eye to eye then. Okay, I got you.
Well, we're civil, and
I know you're thinking of the child. You're thinking of the child. Yeah,
we are not in any disputes whatsoever, and there's some things that I don't agree with, but I have set boundaries, and we have decided, and we're just going to get divorced, but that's just something we need to do legally.
Yeah. Well, you do have to have. How's he want to support your child? You got guardianship. Does he want to support it?
Well, he wants my granddaughters back with me. He wants them both out of that.
Well, what about financially speaking? What are you going to do financially?
Financially, in terms of supporting the girls?
Yeah, helping you. As hard as a single woman that you have to support 3 daughters, you technically got 3 daughters you're taking care of.
Well, my daughter is on Social Security.
At 26? At 26?
Yes. And
she didn't make very much money on Social Security. She doesn't have very much.
No, she doesn't. But I work part-time. I filed an early retirement 7 years ago as a nurse.
Well, then you're going to get a lot of penalties on your retirement.
Mm-hmm. I had to file an early retirement because I lost a son he was 29 years old in a car accident 8 years ago. And
sorry to hear about that. Sorry to hear about that. Sounds like you have a lot of woes in your life. It sounds like you have a lot of woes in your life.
Yeah, my parents were living with me too. The same day the girls were abducted, my parents were abducted by the same person that made those false accusations and made that call to CPS.
Well, I'm confused. Your parents, how old were you then when they were abducted? How old were you then? With your mom and dad?
They were just recently, on the same day, the 5-month-old, just 5 months ago, on August the 12th. The girls were taken, and then in the evening, my parents were taken.
Well, why would they take your parents? Your parents are adults, right?
They are, but they're disabled.
Also, it was adult. They're adult parent. I got you saying you're taking care of them as like a caregiver.
Right. The same person that made the false report into CPS is the same person that had my parents abducted that same night.
And where are your parents right now?
They're now in Barstow, where they're not happy at all.
Well, now,
and legally,
that was on the basis of elder abuse. Is how come your parents were taken?
Well, the perpetrator that called in the CPS, the false CPS report, called my eldest daughter and said, well, CPS took the girls, now APS is going to take our parents. So I panicked.
Okay, now APS stands for what? Adult Protection Services, right?
Right.
Now, why is CPS involved with APS?
Oh, they're all connected. Human Services Agency.
Yeah, they're all
So
part of Social Security. I agree with you that. But that is sad. Now, what was the allegations that your parents were taken? Why were they taken?
no allegations, no allegations at all. Just that my sister, because I was so crushed after the girls were taken, I panicked when my sister told my eldest daughter that the girls were taken, so now our parents are next. So our parents have to go too. And it so happened that one of my sons was here from Los Angeles. It was too coincidental. He just showed up here with his truck, his Suburban, and it was just convenient for my parents to get into the vehicle, and then he drove them back to LA County.
Wow.
It's just a lot of conspiracy going on, a lot of just, I have no family left. Let's put it that way. No family left at all.
I'm so sorry, Margaret. I want to say good evening to our...
trying to take everybody.
Right. We have Betty Joe just came in from Montana. She said good evening. And I'm talking to Margaret Betty Joe in Missouri, and she's talking about her case. It's a really complicated case. The more I talk to Margaret, the more complicated it gets. She had the guardianship of her daughter's first child, and then her daughter had another child, and that child was taken. And then the child was taken from her, even though she had guardianship. And then she was taking care of her parents, and the parents were taken because they're an adult. They were taken care of. My question is, though, I know it says it's the same, but CPS, Child Protection, ADP, are supposed to be two different entities.
Well, they're social workers. CPS is for children, and APS is for the elderly.
Right, but I did not know that they work in the both branches. I thought they're independent from each other.
Well, over here, their offices are right next door to each other. Adult and Aging Services and CPS. Same phone number. They share the same main line. Different extensions.
Wow, this is new. Margaret, I've been on the show now for 16 months. I never come across it this complicated where, you have two different fathers, the same mother of the two children, and then you have the grandmother involved, and then the grandmother's parents she was taking care of are removed from her also. So you've had one of your children removed, you had guardianship, and then you had your parents removed. Did you have guardianship of your parents?
I am the power of attorney of both parents, and I am the trustee of their estate.
Okay. All
and
right.
Family's trying to take it all. They want to take it all.
Now, what family are we talking about? What family? Is it on your side of the family or your husband's side of the family?
Oh, my side of the family. My siblings.
Well, why are they trying to take your estate?
Because they are greedy, and it's just all about greed. They want to take it all.
Wow. Aren't they thinking about that your mom and dad should be with the best, conditions they are, and your daughter should be in the best conditions? They don't need to be. Now, are the parents, your parents put in foster care, or where they put in?
Well, they're close to, it could happen. I mean, it could very well happen, because where they're at now with a sibling in Barstow, California, they're not being taken care of.
Now, if it's in Missouri, why are they in Barstow, California?
That's where the sibling that abducted them took them to.
Now, what sibling is that? That is your brother or sister that took them?
A sister.
So your sister is taken. Wow, that is really getting complicated here. And they're in Barstow.
She wanted my newborn. She has a daughter that cannot have children. She cannot bear any children. And she took my daughter as the perfect opportunity because my daughter was diagnosed with tardive dyskinesia, involuntary body movements due to the side effects of the psychiatric medication. She just thought that was the perfect opportunity to have my daughter's newborn taken away and placed with her so that her daughter would have a baby to raise.
Mm-hmm.
She called in a false report and she called in acting like she was my eldest daughter.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And then my eldest daughter decided to file criminal charges on me and falsely accused me. So now I'm facing a felony in criminal court, but I'm going to trial next month, and that's something else I have to talk to Mr. Davis about.
Okay. I have Betty that she says she has to get off tonight, and she was trying to help you, but she is gone. And I do have to end the show because it's now 8:00 and my show time's over. But I want to thank you, Margaret, for taking time to talk about your case. And I hope you have good luck with Vincent Davis. I'm pretty sure
Thank you.
if you tell Mr. Davis the whole picture at once, he'll understand it. It was hard for me because it took a lot of time because I didn't know if you could sit there and say, hello, Mr. Davis, this is Margaret. I have an unusual case. I have 3 abductions. I have my daughter's first daughter that I had guardianship of that's taken from my presence. And then I have my daughter's second child that was taken from her. And then I was taking care of my parents and they were taken from me. So you have adult.
All on the same day.
Wow. That is really something there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is like a mini series. So we'll continue on the next one.
Okay, well, I do want to talk to you again, Margaret. I'm not trying to chase you out, but I do have to end my podcast. But I do thank you for calling in. And Betty, I thank you for calling in and trying to help. Betty is from Montana. She's a foster care mom. She's trying to get her brother's child back from Nebraska through ICPC, which is Interstate Compact Placement for Children. And that's the safe transport from point A to point B of children. So, Betty's doing that. Also, Betty has just recently taken a child because she's a foster parent who lost his parents to an automobile accident. So she has a little 4-year-old boy that she's taking care of, and family members are hoping to adopt a 4-year-old boy. So Betty,
I'm hoping that I can do foster care and just get rid of the guardianship.
Yep, maybe that would be good. That'd be good. Yeah. But good luck with that. But anyway, I think you'll be fine. And if you have more questions, don't hesitate to come back to my show, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Margaret. And again, thank you, Betty, and all my other people with emojis and everything. I'm going to sign off now. Right now, we stopped the videos. I usually have a video when I first sign on and a video when I sign off, but it looks like they've stopped them. So I'll be signing off. I'll be on again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. And don't forget to look at my other podcasts about my 5 rules. They're really important there. So I want to thank you for listening. Hold on one second here. My computer right now says it's low on power. Okay, it does help when I don't have it plugged in. Okay, so God bless you all. A good night. And I'll see you again tomorrow. And remember,
good night. God bless you.
Yeah. Remember to keep fighting for your child. Do not give up. Do not give up.
Amen.
Yep. And
Absolutely.
So good night, you all. And I'll see you tomorrow.